town of Fresno, Nevada today, which does not in fact exist. It's a little late in the afternoon for the walk, but the sun just came out and I wanted to enjoy it before it went away again, because apparently we're getting June gloom early and it's March. So we're talking about mega dungeons. Why? I don't know. Just because Mega Dungeon March sounds cool, good. It works. All right. So today we're going to talk about the single most important the characters are going to encounter if you're running a mega dungeon, and that is town. Mega dungeons always are associated with a town. It can be it's usually a small town, almost like a middle of nowhere ghost town, like Barstow, or someplace in the Midwest. It's heyday, it's come and gone. A lot of the buildings are abandoned. The people are not, a little bit more gruffy. It's, to quote our favorite movie, it's more of a wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's the kind of place that would allow adventurers to hang out and get up to all the shenanigans that adventurers get up to. Now, one of the myths of role-playing is that towns should always be safe, especially with a hex crawl and a dungeon crawl. And whenever they go back to town for downtime, nothing bad's going to happen to them. Now, that's not counting anything they might do, because if you're dealing with like murder hobos or people who think killing NPCs are okay, but generally town is supposed to be safe, right? Now, there are two types of towns in gaming, all right? Town type number one, the one you're probably more accustomed to, is the town that exists to facilitate the needs of the adventurers. They will come in, the town will supply them with healing, with supplies, with a never-ending source of food, water, clothing, repairs, information, a place to sell stuff. There's always somebody who just seems to have an unlimited amount of money that's able to buy whatever the adventurers are selling, and then the adventurers leave, and the town's just done, right? It's kind of like animatronics. Like, if they don't activate till the adventurers show up, their job is to make sure the adventurers get whatever they want, and then the adventurers leave. That's the type of town that you'll find in most dungeons, and more of the, hi, doggo. You made a mess. Two doggos. Are you new? I don't know how the bunny feels about you. They're like cryptos. Are you like crypto dogs? Oh, rough. Oh, aren't you adorable? Right? And the greatest threat the town's going to face is probably the players. Hi. Now, town type 2 is the town we're talking about. This is the town that's going to be connected to the mega dungeon. And again, it's going to be the most important character the players deal with while they're dealing with the mega dungeon. Town 2 uses the adventurers to facilitate its needs. Right? So that's the difference. The town doesn't care if the adventurers are there or not. But if the adventurers are there, it's going to take advantage of them. It's going to use them to facilitate its needs. That's where you get your factions. That's where you get your NPCs playing off each other. That's where you get all these things we talk about when we're talking about the fluidity of a mega dungeon environment. The town uses your character to accomplish its goals. The characters, the NPCs are going to be a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more shady. You're never going to get the full truth from them. Even the most innocent little token kid NPC is probably up to something, right? Because they're used to this going on, They built their town near the mega dungeon, and now they know what to expect. I mean, unless we're talking about that one town that has no idea there's a mega dungeon, usually they're aware of it, and like the ghost town that half the population has left because of the gold ran dry. The town used to be better, but people have left as the mega dungeon has come into existence. So the remaining people in the town are there to use the PCs to get money, to get supplies, to accomplish missions for you. And in return, they string out things that the parties need. These are the guys who are going to say, oh, I've never, nobody's ever come back with a Megadungeon. Nobody knows what the Megadungeon is. And then you ask, well, then how do you know about the Megadungeon? And that's the guy who'll hand out the hand and go, well, for a gold, I can see if I can remember. This is Casablanca from the movie. It's a little bit more film noir. It's a little bit more gritty. Everybody's up to something. There's usually going to be one or two competing mercenary units in this town who want you to hire them, knowing full well that sure, some of them might die, but they're using you. They're using you to train up their members and to get money for the mercenary guild. This is the kind of town where there's always going to be a mysterious wizard who has missions for you. And the temple's always going to need you to get something. Oh, your friend has lost his arm. We could cast the spell to grow the arm back, but we don't have the components. We need you to go get us some troll blood. In Megadungeon Town, you are the tools the NPCs are using, as opposed to the NPCs being your tools. And they will take umbrance if you start killing off the members of the town. They're not just going to stand there while you do normal player character things. They are a close, tight-knit society, and you're working for them. So if you start mouthing off, they will retaliate. And maybe they can't stand toe-to-toe with a 10th level fighter, but you got to go to sleep sometime, and they have no trouble slicing your throat because they know another adventurer will come along. And maybe that adventurer will be more willing to work with. So, yes, Megadungeon Town is in its own little adventure hub, because this is where you're going to get all the quests, all the factions, all the people pulling at you to do things for them, to encourage you to go back into the Megadungeon and get something, find something, kill something, bring something back, escort someone, prove something, whatever. All the quests, or most of the quests. Oh, monarch break. Hi, baby. I talk to the monarch like he can hear me. Cool. One of the few good things about living here is the monarchs. All right. Now, in talking about town, of course, we have to address the single greatest threat to town, the player characters. The long history of murder hobos. The long history of let's just kill the NPC and take his stuff. What exists in town to stop them other than the authorities? Now, usually the authorities are going to quickly be outgunned by the players, because even if I've got 10 guards, 10 first level guards against one first level barbarian who's got a +1 sword, probably the barbarian's going to win. Except, of course, this town doesn't fight fair. So what is a mechanic? Sure, Shambler, if you live here in Ventura. I mean, Nevada. I mean, Costa Rica. Oh, wait, I can't look for your dog, remember? I'm an AI. I'm not a real person. I am embracing the truth of that I am an AI, Carl. Beep, 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 beep. Destroy all humans. Destroy all intruders. Beep, beep, beep. In 1966, so I consist of reel-to-reel tape and punch cards. But yeah, are those flowers real? Those can't be real. So, what is a trick you can do to prevent your players slaughtering your NPCs? Oh man, he is not looking good. I guess he's been drinking a little. Leaning over there a little bit there, buddy. Okay, so something I introduced is the rule of scarcity. And I got this from a video game. I don't remember once. I think it was Fable. I'm not sure. And this, the rule of scarcity introduces two things that you could introduce to your town to increase the survivability of your NPCs. One, factions, of course, loyalty, and as you gain rank and loyalty, as we've seen in every video game ever, with a faction, you have access to more stuff. So as you level up the NPCs, and the NPCs are able to accomplish more. If you are one of the factions you're working with is church, and you stay loyal to church, you start leveling up the church. And as you level up the church has more resources you can use. Oh, I couldn't cast Cure Light Wounds yesterday, but with your donations, now I can, right? So that's something you interest. You make it worth their while not to kill the NPCs, to work with the NPCs. And even if that means you're working for one faction against another faction in town, you're giving them a reason to keep the town alive, to keep the town fluid. And the town's going to give you reasons to stick around, to continue to facilitate their economy. Sure, bring in more money. We need that money. Go out and risk your life so we don't have to. It's worth your while to support this faction or that faction, because the more you support us, the more stuff we can give you, because now we're a second level faction. You see this in like World of Warcraft, right? As you level up in a faction, you get access to more daily quests and more rewards, right? So that's number one, the rule of limited resources. Number two, if they kill an NPC, not only does it lower their reputation with the town, and the town's less likely to want to deal with them, but who's going to replace that NPC? If there's only one blacksmith in town and they kill that blacksmith, then now what? Nobody else can do that job. You killed him. So either now you've got to take over as blacksmith, which we as the town would be perfectly happy to have you stick around. In fact, let me introduce you to my daughter. She's of marrying age. Or you got to go to the next town to find a blacksmith, and that town's far away, and it's more expensive, and whatever. Because there's always another town. Town is always knows that there's another town. And that's the big city. If you're in Barstow, the big town is Vegas. Like Texas somewhere, the big town is Dallas. You don't want them to go to Dallas. You want them to stay in your town. So if they kill the blacksmith, there's got to be consequences. There's no more blacksmith. So either one of you has to take the job as blacksmith, or go find us a replacement blacksmith, or take your business to the next town over. Take your business to Dallas. Take your business to Vegas, which is, you got to travel through the dangerous wilderness. You got to go to the town and deal with them. You got to find a blacksmith who's going to charge you twice what our blacksmith would have charged you. And then you got to come all the way back here to finish your job. Or you don't kill the blacksmith. You don't kill the NPCs. You work with them. And they in turn will work with your players, because remember, they want your players to stick around. Your players are tools the town is using to accomplish goals. It's NPC goals. It's the most powerful NPC that they're going to encounter that's not in the dungeon, because it has stories it wants to tell. It has jobs it needs done. And unlike in normal towns, your players are the tools the town needs. And the NPCs in the town are going to use the players to accomplish their goals. That's when we get into faction play. And that's when we get into like each little group having their own quests and their own rumors and their own things that they need. And some of the groups work together, some of them don't. Some of them are open and some of them are secret. There's probably one or two groups in town that are up to no good. The cult of the Witch King or whatever is active in town. There might be a rival adventuring party in town, Maybe there's a powerful NPC who is retired to town. And then suddenly the player characters are like, oh shit, we better stop killing these guys, because turns out that guy's an 18th level paladin with a +5 Holy Avenger, and we just upset him. So when designing the Mega Dungeon, you need to do a town. I recommend the town be small, you know, a ghost town, a town that's fallen on hard times. Tatooine, right? Mos Eisley, Barstow, you know, some town on the middle of nowhere on Route 66 with a population of 14. Everybody knows everybody. And suddenly you come into their town with your money and your desire to go into the Mega Dungeon, and they see you as a resource, and suddenly this NPC needs you to go to the Mega Dungeon to get X. And the merchant faction, needs you to clear out the road and kill all the monsters and bandits on the road between town and big town. And the church needs you to go into the dungeon and require a holy relic. And then it needs you to get things from the dungeon to cast the spells that it knows you're going to need to cast it. You know, I need a cure spell. Oh, we don't have the material components to cast the cure spell that you need. Could you go into the dungeon and get them? In order to cast regeneration, I need troll's blood. All right? In order to cast raise the dead, I need, you know, the bones of a fallen mage. In order to cast identify, I need pearls. Could you go dungeon and get them? You know, and the other faction, and there's probably a bad guy faction, and they're gonna like, hey, if you work for us, we're gonna give you this and this and this. And as you work more with the factions, the amount of rewards they offer you gets greater. So, you know, they have access to things now, you know, because you've been pouring money into town, right? And they're gonna at first charge you nothing, because they want you to think this is a place to hang out. But then once your loyalty or whatever, then the prices will start going up, and then the requirements will start going up, and then you've got to pay guild dues, and oh, I need you to do this, we need you to do that, as long as you're here. And your job as the DM, running the town, running the NPCs in the town, is to make it worth the player's while to stay. There's rewards. Maybe they even know they're being played by the town, but what the town's offering is such a good deal that they don't mind. Yes, I know the town is using me to accomplish its goals, forcing me to return to the Mega Dungeon over and over and over again, but as long as I'm safe in town, and as long as it's feeding me and taking care of me and giving me the things I need during downtime to facilitate my growth, then I, the adventurer, don't really mind that the town's using me, because I help the town accomplish its goals, which in return helps me accomplish my goals. So it's a symbiotic relationship. We're using each other. Now that the 5th level blacksmith, who I didn't kill, can fix my armor and put an enchantment on my sword, because I invested in him. See how that works? Now you've made town a living, breathing organism that the player characters are invested in, and the town is using the players to facilitate its needs, and the players in return are rewarded by the town, and thus given a reason to remain in town and continue to go back and forth to the Mega Dungeon, which we talked about last time. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on town for the Mega Dungeon and factions. All right. If you appreciate me talking about this, let me know. If you're feeling generous, please like, please share, please subscribe. Please consider donating to my Ko-Fi or giving us a super chat, or head on over to Drive-Thru RPG and picking up my new product, Vigilantes for Shadowdark, Superheroes for Shadowdark, the first, the only, the best, because it's the only superhero role-playing game for Shadowdark. If you have any questions about town and fantasy or any insights, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.